What do y'all think? I was trying to be the grumpy old farmer, which my sister says I am. How about it? Hey, friends, welcome to the Gardener's Workshop live shopping show today. Today, I am sharing my best tips and techniques. Wait a minute, y'all have to hit a button on here. Best tips and techniques to have a weed-free season, kid not, including a great deal of the day. I'm going to be demonstrating the 3/4 inch soil blocker and sowing some seeds. And that's the size I use like 95% of the time. And friends, I'm going to show you how to hoe. This is my hoe, and I'm going to show you how I actually use it. I have tons of little baby plants to share with you today. And remember that we're having a drawing for the in-app viewers and who are watching live. And I will be doing a little Q&A at the end of the show. So if you'd like to submit a question to go in that pool, just put @Lisa in the comments and put your question, and the team will scarf those up and present those at the end, and we'll pick a couple. And friends, I just want to thank you all so much for how you help us spread the word about this show. We have new people every single week and tons of people downloading our app. And we just thank you. We know that's because y'all are sharing the word. And you can hit that share button that's down at the bottom of your screen to invite your friends and to let them know that you're actually here. So we have a little hello spring going on. We have reopened membership to my club, the Flower Farmer Club. And it's open today, and it'll be available to enroll and join until Monday. So inside my private community, you're going to look at, we have weekly and monthly live events, the Sewing Circle, the Flower Farmer Forum. I do a masterclass every month. I do a private broadcast, which is a podcast, right? Every month we have a community discussion board. We have inspiring seasonal challenges to kind of get you engaged. And if you're interested, I would love to have you join my community. Just go to thegardenersworkshop.com, and at the top of every page, there's a gold banner, and that's where you click to find out. And there's a monthly and an annual membership. And friends, we just are having a really great time over there, and I just can't wait to have you in there. So don't forget that is available through Monday. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we jump into the fun here. Here in the app, please double check your email address and your phone number when you're placing an order, because there's a lot of typos going on and we can't ship your order unless those are correct. And then keep in mind that here in the app only, this is one of the little bennies of being in the app, all seed packet only orders ship for free, right? It's on us. And then for product shipping, there is a cap for a $9.95 shipping 50 of the United States, and we're really happy about that. So friends, if you have joined us here from within social media, we are so glad that you found us and glad to have you here. What you need to know is that we have a free phone app, and when you're in the app, there's so much more available to you. For one thing, you can participate in the giveaway, which I do every single week to one live lucky viewer. And so also you can build a favorites list, you can watch replays, and most of all, that's a lot of fun, is that the live viewers can communicate with each other through the comments, and people do that all the time. And remember, during the show, if the comments get in your way of your view, you can swipe left or right to push them out of the way, and push, and then again swipe to bring them back if you want to. Now, oftentimes we sell out of the stock that's here in the phone app during the show or shortly thereafter. And I recommend that if you go to a product and it says out of stock, get notified, that you hit that get notified. That simply means that we'll give you a little ding on your phone when the product gets back in stock, because oftentimes the team behind the scenes is bringing stock over from our big website. They don't talk to each other, y'all. So don't be afraid to do that. And then lastly, if you're seeing people posting the sunflower emoji in the comments, friends, those are people identifying themselves as the TGW family. So our logo has a big old sunflower on it, right? And when people have become our students on any of our online courses or in my club, we consider them family, and they get kind of like special treatment because of that, right? And we love it when they post those sunflower emojis to be recognized. So thank you guys so much for doing that. So as usual, y'all, I am giving away a $25 store credit to one lucky in-app viewer today. So hit that white box and that will put you on the list. It'll put you on a wait list, but that's the list. We pull that viewer at the very end of the show. So friends, I've been doing something a little different. We always launch the show with my books that are really how to do everything that we talk about. And the first book up is the Cut Flower Handbook. And I've been highlighting something in the book, and I'm going to do that again today. This is a beautiful book. It's hardback. It is 240 pages. Gorgeous. Look at these images, y'all. And I'm just so pleased to say that my sister took a third of the images in this book. And what I wanted to highlight today is it features over 66 individual flowers. For instance, look at the eucalyptus. So there's one page that talks about eucalyptus, and then the next two pages. Also, I show the seedling, which I have seedlings to actually show you today. And it tells you everything, the growing information, how to start it, the varieties that I love, a flower farmer insider tip, as well as home gardener tips throughout the book. So that is just one of my favorite things about this book, is that it will answer all of your questions. The book is $30, and it also comes with the bonus PDF when you purchase it from us. And that's what this is, a download of the flowers that didn't make the book, y'all. We didn't have room for them all. So would love to autograph a book for you on that. And then, my book, Vegetables Love Flowers. This is really not about growing vegetables, y'all. It's about why vegetables love growing in the presence of flowers. And it's all the company that flowers invite, right? So Vegetables Love Flowers is really about my philosophy of growing. So it teaches you how to start a little cutting garden in the midst of your veggie patch, how to set it up, start it, what to grow, how to care for it, and all of that. But it also, in the back, the last section is called The Yard Around the Garden. And I talk about how I make the most out of encouraging birds who basically eat insects all day long, y'all. About the birds and some of my practices, and about some of the things, like this is a big part of why I don't have a big vole problem anymore, this big huge rock pile and the native border. So would love to sign a Vegetables Love Flowers for you. And this book comes with a video book study bonus, and it is $25.95. And then we, of course, have the book, y'all, that started it all, Cool Flowers, my first book, which really explains the cool season hardy annual concept of how to grow them no matter wherever you are. And in this book, this is my favorite page 138, this is the cheat sheet. It tells you what they're winter hardy to and just at a glance kind of information. This book also comes with a video book study, and would totally love for you to have one of these. And of course, I sign all of the books. And this book was written for home gardeners, but it's based on all my years as a flower farmer, right? So that's a really great one. So let's talk a little bit about how to be weed free, right? Planning is a big part of it, which explains why I was so bad at it for the first few years when you're so overwhelmed, right? You just need to always know what you're planting, where you're planting it, and when you're planting it so you can be prepared. For instance, this is a great example. When you start disturbing the soil to prepare a bed, you need to be able to finish those steps, meaning to go all the way through mulching it, however you're mulching it, with film or bark or whatever you're using. Because if you leave a half-prepared bed sit idle for just 7 days even, right? Weed seeds start growing the minute you turn the soil. And if you don't come back to it till next Saturday, guess what? you might not see all those weed seedlings yet, but they are all have a head start, and no matter what you do, they're going to get ahead of you. So planning is a big, I've just learned timing is everything, y'all. And so we may have a practice here on my farm to never leave a bed bare. And I mean, it's like, if we turn the soil, we want to be able to either cover it with a silage tarp, which you can find those over on our big website, plant a cover crop, or whatever mulch you're going to be using, or install the biodegradable film, which is what we do 9 out of 10 times now. We never leave bare soil because I'm telling you, just letting it sit for 3 or 4 days, those weed seeds, which there are billions of them in all of our soil, you've just given them what they need. You've turned it over. You've exposed them to air, light, and potentially getting water, and they're going to be germinated. And they're basically native plants, y'all. That just means they thrive with little help from us. And you just need to prevent that whole process from actually happening. And that brings me to what our deal of the day is today. And that is, y'all, I can't even believe we're doing it. It's the biodegradable film is 20% off. And so the price is marked in the app, and this is on app only while supplies last over here. You do not need a coupon code. And it's on sale until Sunday morning at 8 a.m. here in the app or while supplies last. So let's just take a look at it. So this basically looks kind of like plastic, but this is actually a corn byproduct. And we use and sell the black on one side, light color on the other side. You install it with the black side up when you're in fall, winter, and early spring making beds. So when you plant transplants, the soil is going to be getting a little bit extra help from the black film in warming up, right? The soil will. But once temperatures heat up, like here in the South, usually for us, mid-April, when we start making beds, we put the light side up. But so that way, because we'll have a 90-degree afternoon, even though it's still 40 degrees at night, and that'll cook your transplants. So by using the light side up when we're planting in those conditions, that reduces the heat level on the surface. This is super easy to use, y'all. You just poke your finger right through it, and there's videos on the product that show you how to install it by hand. Now, this comes in 3 lengths, 20 foot, 50 foot, and 100. The 20-footer one pack is $10.95 on sale for $8.76. What a deal, y'all. The 50 pack or the 50 foot comes in a 1 pack on sale for $19.96 or a 6 pack on sale for $95.96. The 100-footer, which is what this is, a 1 pack is $31.96, or a 3 pack of 100-footers is on sale for $88.96. Y'all, I can't tell you what a labor saver, because when you use film, this biodegradable film, or plastic if you're an organic farmer, because this is not certified, it blocks all the sun from getting to the surface of the soil, which is what initiates annual weed seeds to sprout. This prevents that. So it's amazing, right? So, but if you already have weeds, let me show you the tool that I use for that job. So, all right. So this, my friends, is what is called the garden hoe. This is literally the hoe that I've used for years and years and years. And what I want you to notice that's so different about this, the way that a hoe works properly is when the blade is flat on the ground. Notice where the handle is when the blade's flat on the ground, upright. This bending over chopping action is like not the way that you hoe a garden. That's the way you make more weed seeds come to the surface for next week and the week after. The way this hoe works, can you see the blue line? Okay, so we're going to pretend that this blue line is a row of either plants or seedlings in my garden. Typically, you only hoe beds that don't have mulch on them typically, right? So this is how I keep my direct sown beds from having weeds in them. So let's just imagine that that's a line of larkspur, something that I direct seed in the fall. You literally drop the hoe down about an inch below soil level. And notice how I'm standing, y'all. I am not bent over. I'm standing upright, thumbs up. That tells you actually how to position your hands. And you're just pulling the hoe through the soil. You're not doing a lot of moving around stuff. And I'm just going right up against the row. And then I'm going to turn around and literally come back. You can also watch a video of this on our website, because I'm telling you, I can hoe a 100-foot bed with 3 rows of flower seeds or bean seeds or whatever in 5 minutes or less, y'all. And when you do this, you are keeping all the weeds from developing in the row space between the flowers. And when you have so few weeds, you just don't even mind getting down there and pulling a few weeds that might be in row. So this is the stand-up. This is the garden hoe, and I'm going to show you the 2 different style hoes that we have. They both work exactly the same. The blade's flat on the ground, and you're standing upright. All right, so this is the head of the hoe that I just used. This is called the garden hoe. It's 6 inches across. And friends, when it's flat on the ground, it comes with a handle, y'all. When it's flat on the ground, you're pulling it through the surface of the soil, like the top 1 inch. So you're not digging deep and bringing up fresh weed seeds. After you've run this hoe through your garden 2 or 3 times, from the time, like I typically sow in October, do this by the mid to end of October, do it again in November, and then I do it 1 time in spring. And we have virtually no seedlings out in our garden of weeds, right? So this is called the garden hoe. This is the more aggressive hoe. This will take out much bigger weeds. And this is the one that if I can only buy one, I'd get this one. But let me show you the other hoe. So I'm sorry, I should say this comes with a handle. They do ship separately. You have to put them together, and we give you the screw to actually screw them together. All right, so this is the razor hoe. Just notice how it looks like an oversized razor, right? It works the very same way as that one does. What's the difference? This is the one that I love using at this time of the year to get into those rows and actually hoe and remove any weed seedlings that are in the row. It lets you be more precise and precision. So I definitely use this one almost as much as the other, but this just has a little bit different use. And again, this comes with a handle and the screw to attach them. And friends, these are lifetime tools. That means if you do not leave them outside, you can sharpen them. They're spring steel. They're actually, the heads are made in Switzerland. The hoe handles are brought in from New England. And you will never be afraid to weed again, because you're going to prevent weeds before they get big enough to really be a problem, right? So, Susie, where are we? Are we? Sure. So, okay. So there's, which one is the set? So I can't. Okay. All right. So we offer it 2 ways. You can get both hoes for, oh my goodness, $122.95, plus of course the $9.95 shipping. And then you can buy the individual hose. The garden hoe, this one with the handle, is $73.90. And then you can get the razor hoe with the handle for $68.90, right? Or you can buy them together as a set. And I'm telling you, first off, it's a big savings on the shipping when you buy the 2 together. You don't pay $9.95 but once, right? And you will never worry about, you'll just become, it makes you a direct seeding mastermind. It's really pretty amazing. Now, we also offer the hand hoe, kind of that same version. So these are what we call our Japanese grass weeders. They come in a left-hand model and a right-hand model. We've sold this since we started in business in 2005. So the way this hoe works is exactly the same. The blade should be flat on the ground. You pull it through the soil, not moving soil, moving through the soil, extinguishing any developing weed seedlings in the surface. But I tell you what most people do. They turn it on its side like this, and they scrape and make piles of soil. And in fact, that just creates more problems, right? We love this garden hose. It's one of our top selling products. It'll ask you when you check out, do you want a lefty or a righty? Not only is this an amazing, you have to have, I mean, we have like 6 of these that live out on the carport here. It's a great gift. Think Mother's Day, Easter. Anybody that takes care of a garden will actually love this. All right, so where are we here? Okay, so we call this the Bobo weeder. It's actually a dandelion weeder. And this is the tool that Bobo uses to poke the holes in the Bio 360 because, she sits down and this extends her arm some. It's got a real pointy pokey, and it's actually a dandelion weeder, and you poke it straight down right next to long rooted weeds, thistle, dandelions, and you just push it down, rock it, and it comes right out. It's pretty amazing. But we call it the Bobo Weeder. It's $8.95, and we absolutely love that. And y'all, this is the tool that we have fallen head over heels in love with. Everybody here has been using theirs, and I keep hearing stories. This is a spoon or a scoop, but look at the edges, y'all. It's got serrated edges. I'm getting ready to go out. I still haven't done it, and scoop up hellebore babies because you can push it through the soil to transplant them. It has measurements on here so you can actually plant things to a certain depth, and it's got a great point so it just goes into the soil so smoothly. So this is the serrated scoop spoon, and it's $25.95. And this is quickly becoming one of our favorites. We totally love this scoop. I actually love calling it a spoon. Sister, tell us about these two. Those are your favorites.
Hey guys, this is our trach. I'm Suzanne, Lisa's sister, in case you've not met me before, and I use this in my home garden and flower bed at home. But this trach is wonderful. It's a little trowel on this end. It's got the little forks on this end, so you can do a lot planting in containers. You can plant in your flower beds. But what I love the best is that it extends my arm when I'm in the garden so I can reach to grab soil or mulch or to rake leaves or weeds out. It just really is versatile, and it's the first thing I grab whenever I go to work in my garden, along with my hand hoe, but this is my favorite. The trach is $34.95. It's solid cast aluminum. It has a vinyl grip, and it's narrow, so it's great to get in those tight spaces, and anyone that has a yard would benefit from having this. We just love this. Next up, we have our Hori Hori digging knife. This is our Hori Hori. It has a little sheath that has a hole opening you can put a belt through. And this I call my rock harvesting knife because this is what you're supposed to dig down in the soil with, not your other tools that don't belong down in the soil. It has a serrated edge, so it's great for separating perennials or cutting vines or roots and that kind of a thing. But it's very strong. You can see that the metal goes into the handle quite a bit, so it gives you some good prying to pry up plants, weeds, or rocks. The Hori Hori is $46.95, and again, men love this thing. I don't know what it is about, a big knife, but men just love them.
And it's perfect for planting 2-inch soil blocks too, right, sister?
You poke a hole, you pull the soil, you stick it in, and it just tap in the soil around it. It works great. Okay, next up we have another one of our favorite tools, and these are our side knives. So the side knives, again, are made to go down in the soil and cut. They are really sharp. You can see the serrated edge, kind of like a ginsu. Used to sell ginsus when I was a kid on TV. This is very sharp. This is great for harvesting lettuce or any greens, for cutting through roots and separating perennials. Lisa uses it to get twine off of the tiller or the tractor. It just has so many uses. The bigger one just has a longer reach. I feel like if you're cutting something like string off of the tiller, the small one probably gives you more pull. But the two of them together is $17.95, and what a great option you have to get two of them and save one for you and give one to a friend. You can also buy them separately in the app. This blade is 2.5 inches, and this one is 4.25 inches. So we love our sod cutters. All right, Lisa, next we're going to demonstrate some soil blocking. Are you ready?
Nope, I'm coming over there. I just spilt my seeds. Wait a minute. I have to show my seeds.
She already has you over there.
Oh, all right. I'll show the seedlings afterwards. All right, guys. So now we're going to make some small soil blocks, which is the way that we start most of our seedlings, which I'm going to show you and give you a little talk about that. This is our ready-made mix. Now we recommend sifting all soil blocking and seed starting mixes. I mean, all of them that are alive, meaning they're compost based, because they'll have chunks in them. And there's nothing wrong with the chunks. You can put them in your garden, you can put them in big containers, but you don't want them in little seed starting containers, right? So this is the soil blocker. This is the one that I use most of the time, and I just literally push it down into the mass of the soil. And I just want to be sure that the blocking mix is really firmly in the actual individual chambers. And we use we use flat bottom trays with no ridges, right? And so I just place it on there and give it a push and a pull, and we just made 20 blooming containers, y'all. Now I'm going to sow a couple of pepper seeds. I actually kind of dropped one of them in the mud. Let me get that cleaned off. So we use this aluminum seed pan because it has no static electricity in it, right? And when you don't have static electricity and you have little seeds, you can put moisture on the end of the toothpick, better known as spit, y'all. And look at that. It literally just picks it right up. Now, if you read our seed packet for peppers, it tells you that they need to be covered with soil. And that, my friends, is how you do it. You literally grab a seed, drop it on the top, and then I just drive it home. I'm pushing it deeper into the block to create the darkness that it needs, right? So I'm picking up, and they're a little bit big for this method. I, in fact, probably should have just dropped the pepper seed right on the surface because they're kind of big to pick up. And then I am literally just driving them home, which is only hard because y'all are watching me, right? Usually it goes pretty quick. See there?
Your sister's not holding the tray steady.
And that's right. Two of our hands are moving around. That is how you push it to cover it with soil. And again, so I think that's good, Suze. So your seed packet should have the instructions. It should say something like sow on the surface or needs light to germinate. That means it needs to be on the surface. Or if it says cover with 1/8 of an inch of a soil or needs darkness, that's when you drive it home like you just saw me do. So I have some seedlings I want to show you here. First off, we started 17 trays on, not we, I'm using that loosely. Bobo started 17 trays on Monday. Today is Friday, of celosias, all because we grow tons of celosia here, right? Look at this. Are these not so gorgeous, y'all? I could just stare at these all the day long. This is the Chief Gold, which is a color we use a lot of. And then look at this. This is the Chief Mix. So you can see some of these stems are the dark color because there's the dark foliage, the light foliage. So this is the Chief Mix. Totally love it. If you love this tray, you'll find these trays over on our big website. We import these from England and absolutely love them. But look at this. I recommend that everybody start basil throughout the winter season, even though it's not time to plant it outside in the garden, y'all. Oh my gosh. This is our lemon cinnamon bouquet mix. And I started these a couple of weeks ago. This is 20 of those blocks that you just saw me make. They're going to grow in this block until they're planted out in the garden, which of course will not happen until after frost has passed. But look how beautiful. And this is a 5 by 5 or so. I think it's 5.5 inches square little tray. Doesn't take up much space, but look at this, y'all. I chose to show you eucalyptus in my book because look how beautiful. So eucalyptus is a slow grower. It's a warm season tender annual. We start it in the small block and then I bump it up to the 2-inch block. Can you see inside there where the small block is? Y'all, look at these roots that are coming through. I bump it up because eucalyptus is such a slow grower. Look at those beautiful roots. So these will not be planted out until mid-April, so we still have a couple of weeks. And I have all three of the varieties going. I have Silver Dollar, Polyanthumus, and Parvulagum. And they are, I mean, of course, for cut flowers, we absolutely love them, right? Totally love eucalyptus. Now, how can you get started soil blocking, right? So our number one selling customer favorite is our soil block maker kit. And so this kit comes with the small blocker, and these are made in England also, right? It makes that cluster of 20. Then we include 5 of these. These are foam reusable trays, y'all. These are not meant to be disposable. We use these for years, right? It has 5, and 3 sets of 20 will fit on every tray. It also includes the little seed pan you saw me use, the toothpicks, and the toothpick dispenser. The little wooden, they're called plant IDs, but y'all, I use those for tools to handle my soil blocks, right? And then it also includes a bag of our ready-made mix. This is a 6-quart bag. When you sift this, to make blocks, this will make like over 600 of those small blocks, but we do recommend sifting all of your products for soil blocking. It also includes my Seed Starting Made Easy online course. This takes you from beginning to end for seed starting with soil blocking. Also, how to direct sow outdoors, how to plant sunflower seeds in a plug tray, as well as using the commercial soil blocker, the Swift blocker. So that is included, and you get your choice of either 3 warm season packs of seeds or 3 cool season packs of seeds. So you get all of this for $89.95 plus $9.95 shipping. So it sets you up to start making your own soil blocks at home, right? Then, if you want to make your own blocking mix at home, which we know a lot of people like to do that once you get started, but as I mentioned, that small bag makes a lot of blocks. So we made this make your own mix sifting set. So this comes with a bag of compost, which of course needs to be, it's coming apart here, needs to be sifted. And y'all, for soil to be alive, for us, that means that it's compost based. Compost has chunks in it naturally. So the stuff that you're sifting out, you're not throwing away. You're just finding another use for it. That is great stuff to add to your garden. We just need the fine stuff to actually make our soil blocks. Now, this also includes the cocoa fiber brick, which it shows you add water and it grows to 2.5 gallons, as well as we have our nutrient mix. The recipe is right here on the front. This is powder, easily to incorporate. And the best part, y'all, it includes the sifter, which is a 1/4-inch sifter that fits perfectly on top of a 5-gallon bucket, which makes this a really easy step to follow. So you get the sifter, the blocking mix, nutrient, the compost, and the brick, all for $59.95, which is about a $5 savings. And you can purchase all of these things separately. We're kind of having fun here today, y'all. You can purchase everything separately except for the cocoa brick, which you'll find those over on our big website. Now, part of what makes this soil blocking method so genuinely perfect for the home gardener is the fact that you can do it anywhere inside your home. And that is because we use trays without drainage holes in them. Flat bottom, no ridges. And these are the foam tray sizes. So this is the mini, we call it. The 5-pack is $1.95. It's 5 1/4 inches square, or a 25-pack for $6.95. This is our small tray. This will hold either 2 sets of 20 of the small blocks, or this is a big one, 2 sets of 4 of the 2-inch blocks. That tells you why you always go small when you can. You can fit 40 or 8 blocks on here. This is a 5-pack, $2.95, or a 25-pack is $12.95. This is the size that comes in the kit. This holds 3 sets of 20, and it's $3.95 for a 5-pack or $15.95 for a 25-pack. And we use all the sizes of trays. I have so many different size trays in there because to make the most out of things like your seedling heat mat, you don't want to have empty tray space sitting around, right? Because real estate is of a prime on heat mats and grow lights. So this is the seedling heat mat, which really continues the journey, right? This is where we set all of our seedlings to warm the soil, to get them to sprout. This is $39.95, and 4 of those trays will fit on here, which means you can put 240 small soil blocks on this thing here, y'all. It has a built-in thermostat, and that works from the air temperature, and it'll just get your seeds to sprout more uniformly, quicker, and just get things rolling, right? Y'all, this is my favorite pen. I mean, if we have 10 of these here, we have 20. This is a pen that was made to withstand UV rays and moisture, meaning outdoor use, and it truly lasts. This is one of those wooden stakes that was written on like 2 years ago, and it was outside for over a year and a couple of months, and you can still read it. Royal Mix. These were sweet peas. It really does last. They're $6.95, and it's just one of those things you do not want to be without. This, my friends, is my favorite little watering can, not only for soil blocks because it has such a great gentle pour, but for watering arrangements that, you know, have flowers and you can't really get the vase up underneath the faucet. This really works. It holds 4 cups of water. It's stainless steel, and it has multi-use, and it's pretty enough that you can leave it sitting out. We really, really love it. And so we often get asked about what do we feed our seedlings to have all these beautiful seedlings all the time. Y'all, we use the Neptune seaweed fish. This is what we've used for decades, and we love it. It has the directions right on here. It's 1 tablespoon to a gallon is what I do for my seedlings, so it goes a long way. It can also be used as a soil drench out in the garden or a foliar feed. For a foliar feed, you could just mix it in a watering can that has a sprinkler head on it and then just sprinkle it onto your foliage. But it does have an odor, so beware of that. This is $18.95. All right, so now we have our fungus gnat fighting set. And friends, let me show you what you're trying to prevent happening. I keep saving this. This is one of the yellow stickies. It's stuck to one of my seed packets. It doesn't come, the seed packet's not part of it. Those are all fungus gnats, y'all. That's from a fungus gnat outbreak we had a couple years ago. And this is, when you're at this level, it gets crazy fast. That was just in my little grow room, right? So you prevent, just like you prevent weeds, you prevent fungus gnats. And you do that by including the mosquito bits, which it says right on here controls fungus gnat larvae. You put this in your water the day before you're going to use it. And water, we do this on Wednesdays. I put fertilizer in on Mondays. You're doing the same watering job. You're just adding stuff to your watering can. So you do this once a week. We start this immediately when we start seed starting. Because you don't wait till you see a fungus gnat, because then you've already lost the battle, y'all. And to capture those adults like you just saw, it comes with the yellow sticky traps. This catches the adults. This takes care of the larva that's germinating or actually growing in the wet soil. It is $19.95, and these are available separately in your app. And guess what, friends? We have them back in stock. We love this flower caddy, right? And so we use these around the farm. And so this has a savings when you buy it here in the app. There is additional shipping charged over on our website because it literally costs more than $9.95. So depending on where you live, you could be experiencing a savings of $2.95 to $10.86. So this is what we use here on the farm. When we always have one of these on the trailer for all those smaller stems or shorties. You can sort flowers by size, prevents crushing, and this easy to carry handle. It's made in the USA, high quality molded plastics. We have sold these, I guess it's 2 decades, sister. It's 2 decades. I'm just sitting here thinking, when we started our business in 2005, these were a part of it. And so we have sold them for 2 decades, and they're $59.95, and of course, $9.95 shipping, but you only get charged that once, right? And they are back in stock. So
And
Susie Q's coming in.
The most important thing about this is that if you're not going to be cutting flowers out of your own garden, take this with you to the farmer's market. Take this with you to the grocery store if you're picking up flowers, because it doesn't tip over in the car very easily. So you can put tall flowers in this, you can put short flowers, but take it with you wherever you're getting your flowers, from your garden, from the grocery store, from the farmer's market, and your flowers won't tip over while you're driving with them. Next up, we have our plant protection kit, sister. She's gone rogue, guys. She's run off. So this is our plant protection kit, and it does exactly what it says. It protects your plants. So when you have a big container that has something that the squirrels like to dig in, or the rabbits like to eat, or the deer like to eat, what we do is we put one of these grow-throughs on top of it, and it has 3 legs, and you attach the legs. You can see in the picture. Well, you can't see in the picture because it's covered up, but it's like a
Suspended
roof. It's a roof for your little tent you're about to put over your flowers. And then it comes with a 6x6 piece of this insect netting, and this is kind of stretchy. It's almost like a hose, like a pantyhose. And you just simply place this over top of your little roof that you just built. And we have our wonderful stretchy, what is this called? Stretchy string that we love.
Flexi tie.
Flexi tie. And you just wrap this around it and tie it in a little bow.
Like a belt.
Just like a belt. And it covers it up so that the squirrels and the rabbits and the deer can't get to whatever your prized possession is underneath of your
And it really works.
netting. It really does work. And the container protection kit is $21.95, and it works really great. Now, we also sell just the grow through. If you want to support, a lot of people use these for peonies and different things that tend to get heavy up top, and this will hold up your flowers. Generally, when we use netting for supporting, they're about halfway up the plant. So if this works for you, this little legs are, how long are these little legs? 18 inches. And of course, you're going to have to put some of that down in the ground to hold it up. But this will support those flowers that tend to get heavy as they grow. The grow through by itself is $10.95, and it's 12 inches across the top, and it does say 18 inches right on there. Next up, we have the pot pads, and I need to take some of these home. These pot pads are little pads for your pots. And if you've ever noticed your pot either on a deck or on your patio, if it's made of brick or anything, the pot sitting on there, it tends to discolor whatever it's sitting on. These little pads lift it up. You see, they lift it up. It's rubber on the top, and it's that hard plastic on the bottom. You can use it to scoot it. You've seen those Moving Men commercials where they put this under furniture and it slides across without hurting it. You can use it that same way. Works up to 3,000 pounds. So in case your husband's laying on the piece of furniture you're trying to move. But the pot pads are $16.95. They prevent the wood damage, and the staining makes it so easy to slide. 4 per pot, and you can use more if you have a larger pot. So these are great to have on hand. Next up, we have one of the things I really love are these copper name tags for your plants. And these come in a pack of 25. And the way you write on these is with a ballpoint pen. And when you do that, usually you would have like a towel folded up behind them to give it support while you're writing on it. And then you can see it actually engraves it. So even if, sorry, it looks like it's backwards in my phone here, but it's probably the right way for you guys. But even if it washes away, it's still engraved. So you'll be able to tell years down the road exactly what you have. And the 25 pack is $21.95, and they're 10 inches tall, and the label area is 2 5/8 inches by 7/8 inches.
That's a lot, 25.
So there's 25 of them. Yep. All right, next up we have our Joyce Chins. Any of you have ever heard me talk about these? These stay in my drawer in my kitchen. I use them to trim the hair on my dog's feet. Junk drawer in the kitchen. Use them to cut ribbon. They're just super, super sharp. You can use them to cut chickens if you can have a pair strictly for food in your kitchen. They are just so sharp. Florists love to use these for flower arranging because they just make quick work of everything. They just cut everything. They're super, super sharp. $35.95. Everybody needs to have these in their house. I think I have two now. And always I'm searching for them still. But they are great. You won't know what you're missing until you actually use them. Sister, you want to tell them about
Yeah.
our candy dandy
So
little
we
cutter?
still have a few of our Felco saws. This is my favorite saw, y'all. This is, I mean, I can cut literally like a 4 to 5 inch diameter limb when I'm pruning. Because the thing about this little blade that stays sharp for decades, I'm not kidding you, is it cuts on the push and the pull. So you're getting like double time. Absolutely love this. We bring it back every year for pruning season. It's $49.95. It's got a 6-inch serrated edge and really love it. And I actually store mine also in the package, so don't throw your packaging away. I think you'll absolutely love this little saw because this is pruning season, right? We're kind of finishing that up, so don't forget to do that. So a frequently asked question this time of the year is like, how are we preparing our beds? Well, this is actually the fertilizer, that same fertilizer that we use here on the farm. This is an organic, dry chicken litter based fertilizer. It's a 4-pound bag. And this bag, 4 pounds, well, actually 3 pounds is about 7.5 cups. And that's enough for 100 square feet. That's like a 10 by 10 garden, right? This is available in larger bags over on our website. It's $14.95. And this is, I won't go on my tangent about fertilizer. This is the type of fertilizer that feeds your soil because your soil is what takes care of your plants, right? To make it really super simple. So that is the same fertilizer that we use. And we are right on the cusp of starting to install flower support netting out in the garden for the cool flower plants. So this is plastic and it's 6-inch squares, right? And we suspend it above the flowers. The flowers grow up through it, and it keeps them from going down. And so this comes in, and there's a video showing you how to install the product. It's 36 inches wide, 20 feet long is $11.95, 50 feet long is $21.95. And if you need longer pieces or a big roll, you can find those over on our big website. Now, that insect netting that you saw Susie Q talk about for the plant protection, container protection, this is it, y'all. This is the insect netting, and I am in love with this stuff. It looks like row cover, but it works differently. First off, it's much more heavy duty. It lasts longer. It'll take a little bit more abuse, but it's stretchy like pantyhose. So I find it so easy to work with out in the garden. So it's made to use on the hoops and with the weight bags that we sell, to put over beds that you want to protect from pests potentially. Think about those moths that lay eggs on your broccoli and your cauliflower. It does the same thing on some of our flowers or the cut flower kale. This is, you block access to the plants, right? But I also use this to create what I call a sun cap. When you plant on a 97-degree day, you're going to cook seedlings in those kind of conditions. You can see on the website how I created a sun cap because this does not trap thermal mass, heat, like a row cover does. And you can see how I made this. Absolutely love this stuff. It's lightweight, stretchy, totally reusable. And we show you how to secure it with either weight bags or the big jumbo clips that it shows you the kind that we use in the video. It's all 6.5 feet wide, just like row cover. 20 feet is $33.95. 50 feet is $82.95, and 100 feet is $159.95. And this is something that you will use year after year, and we just absolutely love it. Now, here is those anchor bags. This is what we use to secure a row cover as well as that insect netting I just talked about. You fill this with 15 pounds or so of either sand, rock, gravel, or soil, whatever you have available. And then you just gather the top up, and it has a string you can wrap around and tie it off. This way you don't damage whatever it is you're weighting down, whether it's row cover or insect netting. Now this comes in a 10 pack for $10.95, a 25 pack for $24.95, or a 50 pack for $39.95. And I will tell you, you will never have enough weight bags. I mean, I have hundreds and I still don't have enough. Just a reminder to everybody that's just joining in, be included on the giveaway for the $25 store credit for one lucky in-app viewer. So please hit that button. Now, and if you have joined late, you know, I do a little Q&A at the end of the show, and you can submit your question to be in the pool at one of the comments. Just put at Lisa and whatever your question is, and the team will gather those up and pick a couple for me to actually answer. So these are desiccant packs, y'all, and this is how we store our seeds to keep, you want to keep your seeds dry and cool all the time. And this helps you do it. You can get a 2-pack for $2.95 or a 10-pack for $9.95. And I always say, you know, you should buy seeds when you meet them. When you meet a flower is when you need to purchase the seeds, and then you can store them to make them last a really, really long time. Now, friends, this is our vegetable planner. This is so brilliant. See this red line? You move that red line to your first or last frost date. It has 2 sides, fall and spring, and it tells you everything. When you should start the seeds for vegetables, when you should plant them, when should you get your last planting in. This little thing is packed with information, and it's $5.95, y'all. What a blooming deal, right? So this is the vegetable garden planner that's $5.95. Now, I want to talk about just a couple of vegetables that we're starting right now on the farm. This is my all-time favorite leaf lettuce. It's called the All-Star Gourmet. This is what we grow in those containers that we use that container protection thing for, because the squirrels just uproot everything we plant. Love this. And I'll grow a smaller amount of the premium greens mix. These have like arugula and stuff in it too, so it's a little bit spicier. Totally.
Which is better for you.
Which is better for you. And I was going to say, you can even stir fry this. And so this is the pepper that I'm growing that I sowed today. This is Carmine. This is a sweet Italian. It's a really long pepper. Great for grilling, salads, roasting, whatever you're doing. Really love that. And then my brother-in-law is such a bell pepper fan. He loves making stuffed peppers. And this is a great one. Early harvest is green. Later harvests are red. Really love that. And that is Olympus. And then, friends, some of the celosias that I'm growing here on the farm. Here's one of the ones you saw in the tray. This is the Chief Mix. Great colors. Coxcomb is not only great for pollinators and bees, it's great in bouquets. Long-lasting, gorgeous colors, and I grow them all, y'all. This is the Kramer's Coxcomb. This is the one that was hybridized for drying, meaning it holds its color better than others typically. And we absolutely love this. And I could tell a story about Mr. Kramer, but I don't have time. Sorry. Someday. This is Super Crest, which has a lot of funky shaped blooms, but the colors, y'all, the blushes and the shrimps are just beautiful. And it's super tall. It gets taller than I do. That's Super Crest. And they're all my favorites, so you can just know that. But I love this one. This is Askew. And this is Fuzzy. Can you see how the ribs are cut? And it kind of gives them a ruffled. Super great colors. Totally love that one. And then, of course, our own custom grown seed, Jura Salmon. There is no other color. I have a similar color to this, but none of them are like this Jura Salmon. I'm just saying that. Get the seed while it's available. We didn't have it grown again last year. So what we have is what we have. And that is Jura Salmon. Now, Orange Queen is close, but she's definitely more orangey and not salmony. But it's beautiful. This is a soft orange. And y'all know orange is my favorite color. Love them. And this one, oh my gosh, we started this one too. We started all these actually. Crystal Beauty. This is a gorgeous color. This head does not get really big, but it's such a great color that you just take whatever shape she happens to kick out. Then these are single stem coxcomb. This is spring green. I've grown this one for years. Absolutely adore it. It's one bloom and one stem. But there's attributes about it that make it worth it. And then this is Act, which is the same as spring green. One bloom, one stem. Can never have enough green. And look at this Higyoku red stem. Look at that dark foliage. So beautiful. I mean, how much of this do you think you could sell 4th of July week, right? In bouquets. And then this is rose, but I'm telling y'all it should be called cotton candy. That's the color of it. Pepto-Bismol cotton candy. And look at this. This is Bobo carrying a load. This is it red, orange, or orange, red? Orange, red. I always say it backwards. This is the most productive coxcomb I've ever grown. It's amazing. And look how gorgeous they are. And this is Suzanne's favorite. This is the bicolor coxcomb. It's yellow with red specks and just a kind of variation. It's really a lot of fun to actually have those to add. And then, friends, here's another custom grown seed that we offer. This is Texas Plumes. And we love this plume. It gets super tall, tall as I am, and the array of colors is just beautiful. And then before I had Texas Plumes, this was my favorite. This is Sunday Mix, and I still love Sunday, but they're shorter, but they have deeper concentrated colors. This orange specifically and this pink is just really beautiful, and we've grown that one for years. I love this Selway terracotta. See the shape of this plume? It's different than the plume, the big plumes, right? I think this might be a spicata, not sure. But that's a great color. And then this is the salmon of the Selway. Just see how different the shape the bloom is? Y'all, all so useful in bouquet making. And oh my goodness, this is one of my favorites. Look at flamingo feather. How gorgeous is that? Love it. We succession plant all of these, y'all. And then look at this, sylphid. How useful is that in making bouquets? It totally goes with everything, right? How gorgeous. And my personal favorite that nobody else sees as much beauty or as value in because it's a little smaller, this is High Z. Y'all, the foliage and the stem color on this and the magenta color of the plumes is like nothing else. Totally love this, and it is so productive. And then we bring it up the rear with Pampas Plume, which a lot of people grow this. And the only thing about Pampas Plume, it has great color variation, is it goes to seed really quick. So you have to be really stay on top of that. All right, friends, it's time to wrap. And remember to stick around to the very end for the Q&A. I just want to remind everybody that over on our website, we have so many resources. We have videos and blogs and our podcast. I host Field and Garden, and then we also have Seed Talk with Lisa and Lane. And remember, over on our website is where you can join the Flower Farmer Club. That is my private membership that is packed. Just go over there and read what's included. There's a whole page. Read some of the members' testimonials about what it's like being in that club. And it's open. Enrollment is open until Monday. And I would love to see you on the inside in there. So this coming Wednesday, we have a guest host for Ask a Flower Farmer. It is Daniel Shavy of Petal Pickers in South Carolina. Daniel's going to be hosting, so bring your questions. You know, he is the cute as a button, Suzanne yells, but he grows big dahlias, big tulips. I mean, he ships flowers all over the United States, and he is just so full of information. Don't miss it. And remember to meet us back here next Friday. The theme next week is the complete kit for indoor seed starting. We're going to show you from beginning to end and offer it all together. And so, friends, we have a lucky winner, and I hope you're here to claim it. And our winner is Angie Foster. Angie Foster, if you're here, give us a big old shout out, right? In the comments, just let us know you're here, and then the girls will drop that right into your cart. So when you go to check out, you have a $25 credit right out of the gate, right? All right, so Angie, give us a shout out. And so either stick around for the Q&A or thanks for joining us, friends. I'm going to answer some questions now. All right, what do you fertilize with and how often do you fertilize after transplanting into beds? Great question. So I literally use the same fertilizer that I use is what we package to sell to you. Okay, so it's the very same dry fertilizer. Our practice here is that while in the trays, while the seedlings are growing up, they get that liquid Neptune's Harvest every week. Then once we plant them out in the garden beds are prepared with that general purpose fertilizer according to directions for the volume, and we plant. In a perfect world, which doesn't happen around here, I would love to soil drench. That means to pour it on the soil, like maybe once a month of the liquid seaweed in addition. But in fact, we have found because my garden is so established, we don't really need that additional feeding unless a soil test tells you that your soil is really lacking. The actual prepping of the bed should provide for that. And so we do it at bed prep and while they're in the tray. I know you're starting sunflowers. What about other warm season annuals like zinnias and celosia, zone 7A? Is it still too early to start these? So, so sunflowers, yes, because they're early birds. So it doesn't really depend on what zone you are. It's when is your last spring frost date. And typically most people, unless you are taking special steps like using hoops and row covers, you should not be planting warm season annuals, all the others, until about 2 weeks after your last spring frost, which for me, my last frost is typically mid-April. That means May 1st would be my target. You then count backwards from your planting target date, May 1st for me. How many weeks does it take you to grow a celosia? Me, 4 to 5 weeks. A zinnia, 2 to 3 weeks. And that tells me when to start. So yes, we've started celosias. Bobo's got gobs of seeds over there. We haven't started zinnias yet for sure. And so hope that helps. Oh, any idea how much longer on the white swan marigold seeds? There's a wait list. I'm impatiently waiting, you and me both. And in fact, I did ask Lane about that. Typically, I think you've asked me this question before, or somebody has. And I asked Lane, and we have been promised the seed from the supplier. I don't even remember what she told me, but we're on a wait list too. So you can believe as soon as we get it, we'll get them packed and the wait list will buy them out probably. So thank you for being patient. Is it better to plant flowers in the fabric or just in the ground or leave the fabric as a walkway? I wonder about the flowers that reseed easily. So she's, I believe, talking about landscape fabric. That there's a couple different kinds. We don't use any of them anymore. We know now that they in fact damage or kill, suffocate soil. After the first year or two, water really does not permeate through it, and it just kind of isn't good for your soil. So we use more biodegradable or organic mulches. So read my book, Vegetables Love Flowers, and that may help you in that. Is there a cheat code for which celosias are one and done? Yeah, the cheat code is the super expensive seeds. All of the single stem coxcombs, none of, to my knowledge, I haven't ever grown a plume that's one and done. I mean, they're all branchers. But there are some coxcomb or celosia cressida, which is coxcomb, that are single stem, like the spring green and the act, unlimited coral, a couple others. But what the giveaway is that they're super expensive seeds because they're hybrids. Are fairly new hybrids too. They have great attributes, and we still grow them even though they cost more. But that's usually the giveaway. And reading the description is the cheat sheet, right? You know, read it; it should tell you. Can you explain the third of time shaved off by using soil blocks? For example, if seed to maturity is 50 to 60 days, does that mean it'll be ready before the 50 to 60 days? So I don't really think of it in that. So yes, it could shave off some of that time that you're mentioning, but I don't even think that far ahead. What I think of when I'm talking about shaving off time on soil blocks, I'm talking about the soil block growing time, right? So let's just take a zinnia, for instance. A zinnia grown in a small soil block, we typically start them 2 to 3 weeks before it's time to plant them out in the garden, right? Well, when you start zinnias, typically in conventional ways, it's more like 4 to 5 weeks before you can plant them out in the garden. They just grow slower because of the environment. Soil blocks get so much oxygen to the roots because there is no container that speeds that up. So in fact, it says, earlier to fruit and flower for that very reason, because you can handle them earlier. There's a lot of steps that actually make the time shorter between when you start it and when it actually produces. But you also have to follow through on all the steps to make that happen. So I hope that helps. Does Clarkia rebloom, or is it one and done crop? So you're talking about probably Godicia or Elegant Salmon. They're all branchers. How warm does your seedling grow room get on sunny days? So depends on when. Are you talking about my cool flower grow room or the warm season grow room? It's the same room, but I have to flip it. I can't grow warm and cool at the same time. So now we've officially flipped to warm season, which means the door is shut, gets bright sunshine in there. Seedling heat mat is going, and there's grow lights going. So that room climbs to 85 to 95 degrees easy on a sunny afternoon, which is exactly what warm season tender annuals want. So hope that helps. We're over, but I'll answer this one question. I just tilled my first 50-foot bed. Would you add compost at this point, or do I need to dig out and loosen it more before adding compost? So funny you should say that. If you join my club, the master class that just dropped in there actually shows that process of how I actually do that. And it really depends on the state of your soil, about how desperately you might need to do things. But certainly, at the very least, adding compost and incorporating it on top, or just putting 1 or 2 inches on top as kind of like a mulch and planting through it. Seedling roots need to make contact with real soil. You don't grow just in compost. It dries out really quick. There's all kinds of boogers there. So I hope that helps. All right, friends, a reminder, I'd love to have you join my Flower Farmer Club. There's a monthly and an annual way to do that. There is lots of great resources over there for you. And we meet up every week in the Sewing Circle. We have a once a month live meetup for the Flower Farmer Forum, where I answer your questions and do a mini training in addition to the master class, the podcast, and all the other stuff that we do. So it's just a lot of fun. It's a great environment to be in and very supportive. So would love for you to join me. All right, friends, till we meet again. Ciao.